Oop,
Hello, I'm finding it right now.
I got it. Did you get
You
it?
got it. I navigated in the wrong place. Sorry. Boom. Okay, sorry
There
about
we
that. That was my
go.
fault.
There we go.
It's
It
in the
was
wrong place at
secret
this.
for a
All
second.
right. Doing great. It's first time ever. Anyway, hello everyone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our stream today. We are raising funds for our fundraiser. We have 2 days to raise $60,000, and we are on day 2 of those 2 days. This is a stream that we are presenting to you called Sharing Trans Joy, because our theme this year is celebrating trans joy. And we want to make sure that even in the times that we have right now, that we are lifting up and celebrating trans non-binary joy, because we need it right now more than ever. So here we all are today. We are going to share our joy with you, and we're going to talk about some of our favorite moments of joy for ourselves, as well as joy that we've seen out in the world. And also share with you just a little more about us and who we are, because we're lots of fun people. And so we thought we'd have lots of fun with lots of fun people. I was just going to, maybe we should wait to announce where we're at, or should we announce where we're at? What do you think, Charlie? What do you think? What do you think?
Whatever you would like to do, I am incredibly ready for the announcement.
Oh, exciting. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, I just wanted to share that we are trying to raise $60,000 in 2 days. We're looking at 16 hours to go. And right now we are at $21,101, which is 35%. So we would like to obviously be higher than that, but thank you so much to every single person that has donated. And if you would like to help out with our spring fundraiser, I'm putting this in the chat. Woo! So you can go to that link, you can see where we're at, or you can donate, or you can share it with friends and family and whoever it is that you would like to share it with. So thank you, everybody, for coming today, and I'm turning it over to Charlie.
Yeah, wow. Well, thank you all so much for being here again. And so we just sort of put together some questions about ourselves and what brings us joy. But first, I would love for everyone to go around and say your name, pronouns, and who you are with trans family. So let's start. Let's just go left to right, top to bottom. So Rachel, do you want to start us off?
I am Rachel, and my pronouns are they, them. And I am the development manager at Trans Families, and also help with some of the programming. And I am helping put on this lovely fundraiser stream for you right now.
Wow.
Charles.
Amazing. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Charlie. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the communications and media manager here at Trans Families. Kara.
Hi, my name is Kara Jeshu. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the program monitor person here at Trans Families. So I do a lot of the evaluation work and some program management stuff. So yeah, but Casper, you're next, I think.
Hi, I'm Casper. You can use hen, a, or they for me. I don't really care. And I'm a program coordinator, so I do a lot of different stuff. I also work with youth programming. Aiden?
Hi there. I'm Aiden Key, he, him pronouns. I'm the founder of Trans Families, and I have a new and interesting title that I'm stepping into, senior consultant. It's got a lot of tasks associated with it that I'm pretty excited about. I'll pass to Lawana.
Hey everyone, this is Lawana, she, her pronouns, and I'm the interim executive director. Thank you for joining us today. Super excited for this fundraiser. And on to you, Jade.
Hi, I'm Jade Triton, she, her pronouns, and I am the operations specialist on staff here at Trans Families. Happy to be here too.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Yeah. So these might feel a little silly, but we were just sort of thinking about like what are joys, what are just normal joys that people could have, and because there are just so many connections, I think, too, between like how we think things are joyful and how other people do. So the first question that we thought of is, do you have a color that brings you joy? And does anyone have when they thought about a color that they really, really liked, did anyone have a really strong opinion that they wanted to give? Oh, okay. Jade is so pumped. Yeah.
Well, that's my color. I want it all. All colors are great in some context or another, and colors just make me happy.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So you picked the entire color spectrum. Okay, cool. We love that.
I'm with Jade on
You
this.
could say white light, which of course breaks up into the rainbow, but yeah, I want them all.
Okay, technicality, sure.
White
Okay,
light,
I love
you just need a prism.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Jade loves Pink Floyd t-shirts the most, more than anything. What about Casper? You are a very specific color person.
I like purple. I
Yeah,
like
you do.
green. I like purple and green together. I like pink, and I like very loud, colorful things. And I also like, you can kind of see it in my background. There's my trans flag. I like colors too. I'm with Jade on this. All colors are good colors, and more the better. Pink and blue are also great together, but pink and green.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say I used to really love. I used to really love those like really light and like really bright neon colors. Like I loved neon orange, but as I've like kind of gotten later into my 20s, I'm much more into like a burnt orange now. I think that's kind of my favorite color at this moment. It's nice. It's a little muted. It's not too overstimulating. Very naturey. I feel very fall, and I love the fall. So
I learned so much about you just now. Yes. Wow. Okay, cool. Okay, so I love that you have a favorite couple of colors too. Anybody else before, or does anyone want to talk about? Oh, yeah, you go, Rachel.
So I love purple also, and black is one of my favorites. And pretty much I always wear black. I was goth in high school, so I still listen to music. I still wear black a lot. But when I'm doing things with colors, I love going across the color wheel. So contrasting colors, like the ones that are purple and yellow are right across, and you've got red and green are right across, and yellow, blue, and orange. That's a good one. I love just like the contrast of really bright colors, and I like bright, bold colors. I'm not a fan of pastels, which Charlie found out a while ago. Mint green is one of my least favorite colors in the whole world. I just hate it. I am sorry to any lovers of mint green. I don't like it, but
this actually isn't a stream about things that bring us joy. It's just like colors that we hate. So we're changing.
Yeah, right. Mint green. Yes.
Okay, I love. Okay, does anyone want to talk about another color, or are there any smells that people want to talk about that they really liked? This one was a really fun one for me to think about.
Well, I want to jump in really quickly on the color thing still, if I can. I grew up my whole life saying, oh, red's my favorite color, red's my favorite color, without a thought. I don't know when I decided it, but I feel like this amazing human who's very serious and very deadpan, who I never know, are they joking or not, but they gifted me my new favorite color, which is when they said, orange is the color of all things universal. And I just, the heavens opened and I thought, yes. So I'm going Kara's route with the orange.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why I thought we were going on to smells. That was ridiculous. I want to keep talking about colors. I also really love orange. What'd you say, Rach?
I said colors are so important. I love colors.
I know. I don't know what I was thinking. I also really like orange, and tangerine is like my favorite color. It's such a good color. I painted a desk but I'm not going to show it to you because there's some laundry over there. But believe me, that I love orange a lot. Well, Luana, do you have any? Yeah, I mean, we're going through. Yeah, let's do it.
In there. I like splashes of color. So, but my favorite color is actually gray. Gray or like charcoal gray. I like black too, but I like to see strong contrast. So if you have black, then a splash of color, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Green or blue or purple, whatever. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm not that big on the pastels, but they work in some places. So I'm not opposed to them.
Like bunny pants.
Yes, like babies for babies or maybe or something like that. They seem like there's an appropriate place for them. Not on my walls, but
right, right. There's
I
a
want to.
Does everybody want to know what color their name is from my point of view?
yeah. Are you synesthete? I smell in colors.
Yeah.
Do you see names in colors?
Letters, numbers, all of it.
Letters? Yes. Tell me.
Yours, I mean, it's purple just because I associate it with purple, and ours is both red and blue. Charlie, like sky blue, and your last name's kind of a dark forest green. Kara is, I mean, kind of the same thing, but a different kind of blue for your first name. Yours is lighter. It's a little more aquamarine because you've got more A's. Vowels make things lighter colored. Aiden, you have the most yellow name I've seen in my life. The whole thing is yellow. It's lemon yellow and then like a darker gold, like not quite marigold, maybe goldenrod. Luana, purple, and Jade, yours is jade green, obviously.
That makes sense.
And mine is yellow.
love
Ah.
that.
That was my next question. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. I feel more connected to the universe right now, I think. Thinking about like my okay, that's so fun.
That's your assigned
Wow.
color.
Yeah. Yeah, but it feels good. I feel like I got to choose it too. I don't know.
Actually, Luana, I feel like I should specify only the first two letters of your name are purple. The rest of it's kind of black because that's Jay's color. So it is actually your color scheme.
Yep. See?
Nice. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Wow. I thought I didn't know how we were going to answer that question, but I feel like this has gone some really fun places. Wow. Okay. So great. So that was so fun to learn about everyone's feelings about that. Okay. So what about a smell that you like? Since I've said it 1,000 times, I bet everybody has an answer. Let's see. Is anybody ready now, or should Kara go first? Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
That worked out perfectly.
That
Charlie.
was
meant
oh
to
my
be.
gosh.
It was meant to be. I've been thinking about this all day.
I'm feeling really connected to the universe right now. That was incredible. Okay, Kara, take it away.
I would say that my favorite smell is freshly cut grass. I'm one of those people just because it is the smell of when things are getting warm outside. It's the smell of things are growing. I just love it. Reminds me of being a kid and playing in the yard and that sort of thing. I love the smell of grass being cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a feeling someone was going to say that. Did anyone else? I'll bet someone that is watching. I bet someone will put in the comments that they were thinking about grass too. Yeah. Anybody else have like a naturey smell?
I'm a big fan of spring flowers in general, also lavender. My favorite is lilac. And some roses. Some of them smell good, some of them nothing, some of them just weird. But
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
during some parts of spring, you go outside and you're like, oh, it smells like spring. Also,
Simon
Sharpies
actually.
and
Sharpies.
old garages. Like people's really old garages full of their ancient cars and like nasty chemicals. It smells so good. Ancient gasoline.
Yeah. Okay. I loved
And
every
lilacs.
piece of that. And lilacs, yeah, right.
And
Gasoline and flowers, yeah.
well, Simon just stole one of mine, which is petrichor, which is a lovely word. But it is the smell of rain, like right after it's rained, petrichor. And Simon just said the smell of rain in spring, which is absolutely a beautiful smell. And also the one that Odetta just said is one of my favorites too. Laundry in like out in the sun on the clothesline. I love it. I love that smell as well. Fresh baked bread is a wonderful one. Yeah.
Jade, I saw you unmute yourself about nature.
Yeah, in the same vein that other folks have said, but that smell of a freshly mulched garden after it rains, where it's that really peaty garden soil smell, is just, it's very spring-like and alive. It's a great smell. But also, apple pie smells good too, and the freshly out of the oven.
See, here I was being a coward and hesitating about that. Also, I like the way dirt smells at certain times of year when it's fresh dirt. Jade is braver.
No, dirt is great. I love dirt.
I have to say that the smell of coffee is pretty exciting to me, but sometimes there's even a more special coffee smell that has to do with kind of the old coffee pot, the percolator that my great grandmother used, that kind of gives off a burnt coffee smell too.
Mhm.
And so I love her so much. I miss her so much. And when I smell that, I'm like, I just love that.
There's that.
I also have a fondness for burnt coffee. When I smell burnt coffee, my parents aren't watching this, because if they were, I might not say that I smell my dad's coffee pot from and every morning I would grab the same, mug of terrible coffee, and we would drive to school. Yeah, I drink coffee in high school. By the way, this is not. I want to clarify that I was drinking coffee in high school, not earlier. All right. Anyway, yeah.
And there's a certain smell that's like burnt coffee mixed with when you walk into a cafe, there's just a really distinct smell and sound that a cafe or a diner has, that I just absolutely love. That it's like breakfast and coffee and probably old food, and I don't know what it is, but it's not replicable in your house because it steeps into the bones of the diner, and you just smell that as soon as you walk in. I love that smell.
Yeah.
Sorry, Aiden. Making Aiden hungry.
I'll jump in there. I love the smell of sandalwood and lemongrass and lavender and some of those essential oil type smells, especially if they're mixed together. They create a scent that's not like any other scent. So I like to mix some of those together. And I love the smell of a newborn baby. I put in the private chat, I put newborn baby diaper, but it really is just a newborn baby. They smell so good and so fresh with all their little, I don't know. It's probably the combination of all the things that are put on their bodies, perhaps. But anyway, those are my smells.
Baby head.
And jasmine tea, if you have a fresh pot of loose leaf jasmine tea, the scent that gives off is really nice too.
Yeah. Things made with vanilla too. Sorry, Charlie, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. It's so interesting because I feel and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel those fell into two categories. One was beginnings of something, or really cozy things.
Mm-hmm.
Even Aiden's and burnt coffee is the beginning of, I think, a fond memory with coffee, or an association. Even though I was thinking about it and I was well, it's not really the beginning of the coffee, but it is the beginning of a next part of the coffee. But the beginning of a rainstorm has a smell, but the end of a rainstorm doesn't until it's over, and then that's the beginning of the next thing.
And then you get petrichor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not until it's over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm from Arizona, so the smell of rain on the ground in the summer, when the dirt is really hot, has a very different smell than the rain on the dirt up here. in Seattle. So it's like a
Mhm.
very distinct, like Arizona deserty rain smell that hits the earth that makes me think of home.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these were just nice memories that you're reliving through smells, which is nice.
Mhm.
Well, cool. I think that maybe let's go on to the next exciting thing, and then we'll come back to some more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Cool.
Because we have another exciting thing to share.
We do. Okay, so I'm going to pull it up right now, and if you want to give some context.
Yeah, so on April 27th, we realized, well, a little before that, we realized that April 27th was the 3-year anniversary of our youth community space hosted in Discord. And this is one of the programs that our funding goes to, is having a youth community space that youth can feel. It's moderated by staff members as well as some of our volunteers. The youth are able to go in and feel like they're seen and heard, and they get to hang out in a space with other trans non-binary youth. So it's one of my favorite places to be. Simon and I co-facilitate the space along with other volunteers in there and other staff in there. And when we realized the 3-year anniversary was coming, we decided to post about it. So Simon made this big giant post about how much he loved everybody in there, everybody who helped create it, everybody who helps maintain the space, and the youth in there just exploded with like wonderful, happy memories and just comments about what they love about the space. And we wanted to share that with everybody. And yes, we did get their consent to share this. Just want to make that really clear because consent is so important. That they consented to have their thoughts shared. So Charlie created a little slideshow so that we can see what some of the youth in our community space have shared and what they love about the space that we have. So yeah, the unity and support in this server is amazing and should be celebrated. I just love that they recognize that. What else we got? Charlie, do you want to read them? Or should we just let people look at them? I don't know.
No, I think we can read them, and then if anyone has anything they want to say about, let's do that. Yeah, if anyone has anything that they want to say about one of these quotes, and of course in the comments too, if something's really resonating with you. But we might get a little bit late, but we will totally see it. So let's go back to this one then. The unity and support in this server is amazing and should be celebrated. I really like that you all did celebrate that. And I like that, I believe the story is that you all said, oh, our 3-year anniversary is coming up. Oh my gosh, it's like now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, about a week before the anniversary, Simon and I were talking. We're like, whoa, it's next week. And so we decided, we want to make sure to celebrate that because, wow, 3 years of this space that we have. And some of the youth have been in there for 3 years, and some of them have been in there for a week. And so it's been beautiful to watch everybody that's been able to come in there and share themselves. And we talk about the best and most wonderful things in the world in there. And also some of the really hard things. We've got spaces where people are talking about the struggles they're having right now. In a lot of them are from the United States. So struggles that we're having with the laws that are passing and being scared. And they have a place where they can talk about that, where they feel safe. And that is super important. And also a space to talk about the silliest things in the world, which is a wonderful thing to have as well.
Yeah, and we're gonna come back to something that you said later on another quote. But okay, so for the next quote, then, so since I made these graphics, I've already read all of these over and over, and I really love them. So this is really fun for me. I feel like I'm sharing something with everybody. Okay, I really liked this one. Y'all have been there to help me. I literally can't thank you all enough for everything that you've done. I feel like I'm hearing from you and Simon all the time that there's just so much gratitude from everybody around to everybody in that server all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and youth that are struggling help other youth that are struggling as well. Somebody who talks about, I'm having a hard time with this or this, and youth that have dealt with that issue or are dealing with it now come in and talk about, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to need that support. And I love that aspect of it too. Um, you know, Simon and I and the other people that are in the server are there to talk about the hard things, but the youth in the server also do that. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's absolutely beautiful.
I'm sorry. Does anyone else have anything that they want to say about this? It's okay if you don't. We didn't believe. We just wanted to share these really nice quotes. We didn't really totally have a plan how we were going to do this.
Yeah.
We just wanted to share these. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next one. Thanks for indulging us. We really loved these. I've only been here with y'all for about a week or so, but I'm really happy to be here. Y'all are such a lovely bunch. And so that's earlier. One of the things that I really liked about this was I think it can be scary to join a new social situation at any time, but the folks in the server, as evidenced by every other quote that were, spoiler alert, everyone's really welcoming, and people don't feel like the new person. They just feel like they've just joined a fun community. It seems to me. Which is great.
Absolutely. Some of you have been in there not for very long, and I know that a lot of you are lurking in there. But if you have any thoughts you'd like to share, we'd love to hear.
I mean, I would just like to say, I mean, I'm pretty new to the server, and I've been looking. I mean, a big part of what I've been doing is trying to think of how do we collect some of this data of like how the Discord server is helpful, or maybe how it could be improved and those sorts of things. And I think these quotes are really, great evidence of the amazing work that like the Discord does, and how it creates a space for, people to be themselves and to vent and to think of, whatever interests they want, and have a channel created for those things and talk about it with their own sort of community. And I think that's an incredible thing. And I when I joined the organization, I didn't even know this existed, and I was joining for some of the other programming and other pieces. But I think what astounds me is just the amount of support and the holistic sort of approach that is taken with the work that we do. And I think specifically Rachel and Simon have done such an incredible job on the server, and I see them interacting every day, and it's always just really, really wholesome to see, really, really nice to see that sort of work being done.
I've actually been in the server for a lot longer than I worked here, but I haven't really been active lately just because other things to do, but it's even just lurking in it and scrolling through it and seeing all the kids talk about everything is really cool. Because it's not a space like a support group where we're here to talk about being trans. They're here to be surrounded by other trans people and talk about whatever they want, including video games.
And just be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They get to exist and be trans, and it's normal because everybody there is.
Yeah.
I think that the youth chat server feels like Narnia. Like you step into it and there's so much happening, and there are like secret things over here, and like jokes that all of the townspeople know, or like whatever. I don't know, but it feels like a really fun, like, whoa, kind of like, what am I getting myself into in a really fun way, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see the next one, maybe.
Yeah. I'm glad I could be here with all of you as well, even though I haven't been here for 3 years. For all 3 years. For 3 years. That was sort of how I read that, was all 3 years in my head.
Yeah, and I love that, like you said, Charlie, they feel welcome. I know there are some people in the space that just lurk, and that's totally fine. I mean, sometimes I am in spaces and I just lurk too because I want to see people talking about something that I'm interested in, but I don't want to participate. It takes a lot of energy to do that. And so I'm just glad too that we are here for people to look at, that they know they can go to this space and be trans non-binary in this space and be supported. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice way to look at it. Yeah, I like that they can observe it before they join and no one knows that they're watching. Yeah, it just feels, it's just a nice space. Okay, let's do the next one. This is a pretty big server, making it feel really free, making it feel really free, not only to explore, but to talk about our interests, our lives, and anything really that comes to mind that would make a good conversation. That feels like Narnia.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, when I joined, I was really expecting it to kind of be, like 5 channels or whatever, but I think like I counted today and I think we're up to like 80 channels on the Discord for people to talk on and do all sorts of, have discussions about so many different topics, and pretty much every single one of them is used regularly. I mean, it's a really active space with a lot of different, places where everybody can, find something that they want to do. And whenever, someone new comes in or an existing member has an idea, I see Rachel creating, a channel for them so that conversation can start to happen and those interests can be kind of met, which I think is really, really cool that it's so adaptable.
Yeah, I love that about it. In fact, that leads me to my very favorite channel. There's 2 channels that I love so much. The first one was suggested actually about a year ago, and it was, somebody said, I would like a channel called Puddles for people with fluid genders and also to post drawings of sentient puddles. And so we created a channel called Puddles. And yes, they talk about gender fluidity in that channel, but they also post pictures of sentient puddles. And I think that is one of the most beautiful things. It makes me so happy. And then the other thing I love is somebody suggested, let's have a channel that is called Random Kitchen Junk Drawer, because we all have the random kitchen junk drawer where we just kind of put whatever in there. And so they just post whatever in there. And right now, for some reason, they're posting a picture of a jar of Jif peanut butter. And every hour or two, somebody will repost that same picture of a jar of Jif peanut butter. I love it. It's the best thing. But it is a wonderful place to like just say, hey, I found out this interesting fact today. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's a great place.
You just saying just now reminded me of, at some point, somebody analyzed the times at which people post, and it's interesting because it's really centered around what are your last messages before you go to school, and then you go to school, and then a lot of youth are right back on the server.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them post throughout the day. Well, so they're probably posting, I'm sure, when they're at lunch or in between classes. I'm sure they never ever post during class.
No.
But yes, they generally the time before school and then the time between like after school and we close the server down at night and give them resources that they can have if they're in in a crisis of some sort. We send them to the Trevor Project if they need help, so that we also get a break and we have that boundary of we can take a break from and re-energize ourselves for the next day, which is part of why it's so active and there's so much going on in there is we have good boundaries for ourselves as well as for the youth in there. And I think that's really important too.
Yeah. All right. It's been so awesome being here, and I'm so grateful to have met all of you lovely people. It's incredible to have a server that feels safe to express yourself and talk with people that understand you. Yeah. Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, and then we have 3 more. The unity and support in this server is amazing and should be celebrated. I liked this one. It's been very nice to be in this server and to chat.
Nice.
I liked
And
that.
yeah, because that is exactly what, we want it to just be a great space.
Yeah. Okay, last one. Ready? Who's ready?
Okay.
I'm ready. Yeah, thanks for indulging us. We've really enjoyed this. Okay, something I love about this server is how supportive we all are for each other through a tough time. We all connected and created this community. I thought that was a nice ending one.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that,
Yeah, I think
that
is.
Go ahead.
That's kind of what I think that whole server kind of symbolizes to me. I've been thinking a lot about, like, when we created the server, thinking back to, looking at all the documents and things around the server creation and that stuff. But like, what was the reasoning for it? And I think a big part of it was just that so many people, so many of the youth that are, that are of the families that we serve are having a really hard time, politically and at school and all sorts of things. And I think creating this space was with the intention to give a break from all of that sort of noise and give some amount of reprieve from that. And I think that is an incredibly invaluable sort of tool. So I really think it's incredible the work that the server does.
Yeah, and we have not just the space that's there, pretty much from morning to evening, but we also have our support meetings in the youth community space, and we also have game nights where youth can gather and just play games and have fun. And we have nights where Simon will run what he calls a chill chat, basically, where everybody just kind of goes in and chills out and talks about whatever. And as we go through this year, we're planning to add more programming in that space as well. And it's so important to have, so important to have that space. Um, I mean, it's hard to even express how wonderful it feels to have a space where you actually feel like you don't have to um, think about how you appear to the outside world, or whether or not these people know that I'm trans, or whether or not I'm safe, or as safe as the internet can be, obviously. But having a space like that where you can just be is invaluable. And for youth today, dealing with all kinds of things, from the things that a typical kid deals with in school to some of the more unique struggles that trans non-binary youth face. Having a space where you can go and talk about those struggles, but also you can go and be together is something that it's irreplaceable. And that is part of why we're doing this fundraiser, is raising funds for trans families in our programming, our youth programming, our programming for parents. And that is a big part of why we're here today. We are, I'm going to say it again, we're trying to raise uh, $60,000 in 48 hours, and we have 16 hours to go. Well, it's less than that now. It's 15, I guess. So you can go to what you see here on our screen, or the link that is showing in the chat. And we are a little higher than we were. We're still at 35% of where we were before, but it's going up. So thank you to everybody who's donated, and please share the link. Please share our information out there. We are here for parents who have trans non-binary youth in their families, to help support. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, and let's see, we have more questions to get to know us. Getting to know us, getting to know not everything about us, but some weird things. Yes, getting to like us. Yes, that's what we're here for, right? Yes, of course. Um, so the next one that we were going to talk about is a magic animal or creature that you like. And I would love to see what Kara has to say about that.
Well, I love birds, as all my coworkers know at this point. I think I go birding every single weekend and that all of that, right? But my favorite thing combines the two animals. What my previous favorite animal was, which was a lion. I love a griffin. I love that they are a lion with like an eagle head. I think they're awesome. I've always wanted to ride a griffin. I just think what else could you want in a magic animal than that? It's perfect.
Griffins are good. Yeah, you can ride. I mean, of course, something you can ride on is always nice, right?
I know.
Yeah. Who else has a magical creature that you like?
I actually have two.
Yes.
First one of them is I've never seen him in good lighting, so I'm not sure what kind of owl. But in my favorite park, there's this one owl. I've named him Jareth, and he like dive bombs my head. He's stolen one of my hats so far and attempted, I think, two other individual hats many times. And sometimes if I'm too stressed, he like comes and hoots at me, and I'm in the park until I stop worrying. It's I swear this is what's going on. Can't explain it. But anyway, yes, I've named him Jareth because he's an owl. And this is Arms. He's my other magic animal. He's a bunny. See the ears. He's my friend. Not
Nice.
mythical creatures, but animals that happen to be magic.
Yes. I think that fits.
I think we could all agree those were very mythical. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Has anybody else got one? I of course do, but
I want to hear yours, Rachel's. Come on, let's go.
well, so when I was probably like 11 or 12, thanks to my mom, actually, I discovered the Dragon Riders of Pern series. And in the Dragon Riders of Pern series, there's a smaller trilogy called the Harper Hall trilogy, right? And those were the first ones that I read. And it's about a girl who runs away from home because she's being treated terribly and isn't allowed to sing, isn't allowed to use her voice. And there's a lot in there that attacks patriarchy as well, which is great stuff. But in the books, she discovers these tiny dragons. They're very tiny, and they will go on your shoulder, and they kind of bond with you, and they will just like hang out with you, and you have kind of this telepathic communication with them. And there are big dragons in the Dragon Riders of Pern series that you can ride on and do cool stuff with, and they can actually breathe fire. But the teeny little ones, like, what a fabulous companion to have. And they have gold ones and bronze ones and red and blue and green. Yeah, all these different ones. There's not a purple dragon though, sadly. Um, but yeah, I love the Dragon Riders of Pern, and part of it is that series like helped save me, as a lot of fantasy does to a very nerdy child when they're in a place where they're like, I don't know who I am and I don't fit in anywhere. Fantasy, sci-fi stories like that often can save you. So that was one of the ones that did for me.
You know, I didn't have an answer for this until you said that, and I want to say that my mythical animal creature is that I played a D&D game with my brother and some of our friends over Zoom every week, and my brother runs it, so he has to do all of the voices of the other characters and stuff. And we played a couple campaigns, and we always give my character a weasel named I forgot we name him now, but we always give my character a little weasel, and every time we play, I get like really excited thinking about the little weasel Pokemon friend I have. So wow, what joy you just brought me thinking about that. My weasel.
Yay.
I have they also got me like a Beanie Baby weasel for Christmas. It's somewhere around here, but anyway, wow. Thanks for the joy. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else have a mythical or magic animal creature that you'd like to share?
Mine was also a dragon. I don't know if you've read Naomi Novik's books, the Temeraire series.
Mm-hmm.
It's a retelling of the Napoleonic Wars with dragons, but the main character is this really intelligent dragon. The dragons are like the Air Force of England, and it's a super wonderful series and fanciful, woven in with some real events. But Temeraire is this really super intelligent dragon compared to most of the dragons. He was supposed to be Napoleon's dragon and got sidelined, and there's a series of them. They're really fun books if you like fantasy, but they're very, very joyful. So I would like a big, huge talking dragon like him.
I mean, who wouldn't, right? All right. Anybody else before I move to the next question? Okay, I'm moving. A beverage you like in the morning. What is a beverage you like in the morning? Aiden, I know you have a beverage you like in the morning.
You know, yeah. I go to the coffee, and it's ironic to me that it's now Swiss water decaf, so the least amount of caffeine possible. But my heart remembers the lift, and so I'm saying coffee. And as a matter of fact, the second part of the question, I'll just go for it now anyway.
Go ahead.
Which
Yeah.
is actually kind of a recent change. I make a cup of decaf coffee, and we found these salted caramel chocolate chips,
Mm.
and I mix it up with some cream and the coffee, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It will be a few hours from now before I have that. But there you go, part 1 and part 2 of the question.
Nice. Yeah, the second part of the question was, what do you like to drink later in the day? So yeah, what do you like in the morning? What do you like later in the day? Who's next? Who'd like to go?
Coffee, decaf, black. In this mug.
Does everybody have a mug right now? I actually have a mug from our benefit concert from last year. Roaring Rainbow. Look at that. We're all.
I drink my coffee at 6 a.m. I don't have mine anymore.
Yeah, this is not coffee anymore, but I use the same mug all day.
I gotcha. Yeah, I drink a double shot of espresso every single morning. That's my go-to thing. And then in the evenings, I typically only have water, but recently I've been having a lot of green tea. I just really like it right now. I don't know. Just something about it is like very comforting at night. I love it.
Yeah, tea is so comforting.
Cara, can we go back to
the exact same drink preference?
Oh yeah,
Cara.
We have the same drink preference. Did you say?
I turn. Yeah, like I like green tea. I prefer my coffee to be espresso. Like I dilute it with hot water. But
yeah, do a little Americano action. Yeah.
Espresso. Yeah. The same.
Cara, I wanted to ask, do you make your espresso or do you buy it?
We have an espresso machine.
Okay.
Which is the greatest investment of my life, I think. I love it so much. Right. And yeah, I buy this bird safe coffee and all this stuff. It's very exciting to me. I love making coffee in the morning. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, usually people will say I like to go buy coffee because I like to have some human interaction. Yeah. So I usually would say like I have coffee, right? But then if I made coffee, I would probably say I made coffee. But something about the way that you said I have espresso, even though you didn't say make, I was like, I feel like she's making this.
I'm not leaving my suburb in Silver Spring all to go
Yeah.
get coffee somewhere. No, got to get it in my house.
That's so funny. Yeah. Wow, funny. Okay.
Plus, if you drink it that early, like half the time, if you go somewhere to get it, you get their first espresso of the day, and it's going to be nasty. So
It's true.
Yeah, I actually discovered using a frother. We just bought a couple of those. They're like $10 at Target, like just little frothers. And I feel so special because I drink a cup of coffee every morning. After I have had the cup of coffee, I make a cup of black tea of some sort. And then for the rest of the day, I either drink herbal tea or water. And so that's like, and a lot of times if it's herbal tea, I'll just throw a tea bag in my mug and just keep adding water to it. But yeah, so that's what I do. But the frother makes it all, I feel like I did get to go to a coffee shop and be like, make me a special coffee. Even though it's coffee, it's not espresso. If it was I don't have an espresso maker anymore. I used to. And I only use half and half. So if I do make it, it's frothed half and half, which I love as well.
So is it like for frothing the? It's for frothing the milk or cream part, not the coffee part, right?
Yeah. I just put it in the milk or cream part and then pour the coffee on top of it. Yeah. And then if sometimes in the evening, I have hard cider because I can't have gluten. So, and I live in the Portland area, which we have many cideries in our vicinity. So I have a hard cider sometimes. But usually my spouse and I split one can of it because we're just like the biggest partiers, right? So we split a can of cider into 2 little tiny cups and drink that. Special. Sometimes on Friday we'll each drink 1 whole can. I don't know something. Who else has stuff to say about your drinks?
Was there? I'd be interested to know if anybody doesn't drink coffee in the morning in this group, because yeah, I'm all about the coffee. But it's my favorite is Sumatra coffee in a French press. Which are really good. But I do put a little cream or something in it too. But my partner wants drip coffee and French press or dark French roast. So we kind of go back and forth with that. But then I do green tea all afternoon and then herbal tea in the evening, or maybe flavored seltzer, something like that. Or an occasional glass of wine too.
Yeah. Good stuff.
French press is also
the only one
real
Yeah.
good coffee,
Yeah, French press is good.
I drink wine all day. I'm just
Wine
kidding.
all day.
I'm gonna clip that for our Instagram, by the way.
Just kidding. Yes, no, same. I have an espresso machine. Ever since I got that really actually changed how much coffee I drink, as well as stopped me from actually getting coffee out whenever I'm out, because I can make my own special coffee and add things if I want. And it's strong enough. And I do like, when I travel, I like to take a little French press that I have. I have a little baby French press. And so that I can control my own coffee. Because, ever since I moved to Seattle, I bought into sort of the coffee snobbery that happens, the levels that when I first arrived, someone told me I would have, but I denied it. I was like, I don't drink coffee like that. They're like, you will. You need a coffee budget. I was like, a coffee budget? I was like, I don't drink coffee like that. I only drink coffee occasionally. And they're like, you will need a coffee budget. And sure enough, fast forward years later, I do drink coffee. But I used to be a big tea drinker. So I love tea too. I only drink coffee to a certain time. Mm-hmm. Usually I have a cup, maybe 2. And then I'll do green. I love green tea. I love like jasmine tea. I discovered this Rishi brand that I really like. If I'm having like a tea bag, and sometimes I just like hot water with lemon, it just depends. Flavored seltzer. whatever. I'm not a big drinker actually, so it sort of makes my body tired. So I usually don't drink that much. Once in a while, wine. With my sister and brother here, I tend to drink more because they like all their little drinks and stuff. So anyway, that's me. I love grapefruit Perrier. I can't find it that often anymore.
Yeah,
But
I haven't seen that one very much.
I used to get that when it was certain places I could find it. Now I can't even really find it that much. So maybe they did away with that flavor.
Maybe. My kid likes grapefruit LaCroix, which she calls LaCroix, which is a whole nother thing, of course. But yeah, grapefruit. I like grapefruit. It's like a really refreshing flavor. All right, what else? So we're talking about things that bring us joy, of course. Now we're going to talk about a book or show that brings us joy. Book or show. What do we think? Cara.
I've got it. So I would say the book that brings me the most joy is I got a field guide called the Sibley's Guide for Birding in North America. And sorry, my dogs are barking.
Oh my goodness.
Did someone say birds?
Birds?
Yes, they're done now. So yes, the book is just about identifying birds and getting, like being able to see the different kinds of plumages throughout the year and all that stuff. But in the back is a checklist for every single species that you can find in North America. So I have like a life list back there. And so it's like a very wholesome, nice thing for me to be able to look at it and be like, oh, this is how much progress I've made in my birding adventures. So yeah.
That's so cool. And when you travel about, you'll have to figure out what birds you're seeing.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I make plans before I go. I always do my research to be like, okay, these are my goal birds for this area. Yeah.
Goal birds. That's so funny. I mean, it makes total. I don't mean that in a mocking way. I just
no.
heard the expression
I get
goal
it.
Birds before, right? Oh, that's so
There's
funny.
so much like birding lingo out there. It's really funny, actually.
You're creating so much joy for me right now talking about this.
Who else has got some book or show that brings you joy? What's your cozy comfort go-to when you're like, I just need a brain break from the world?
Can go because it's my answer specifically for that question. I mean, there's lots of books and a few shows that bring me joy, but the one that I go to like cheer me up or make me feel happy or whatever is a book I read as a teenager, and I've read it several times. It's a series, Roger Schlazny's Amber Chronicles. Just fun and wonderful and adventurous, and there's 10 of them total, two different series, and that's my go-to when I just need to plop myself back into something wonderful and warm and cozy. But Star Trek is my favorite show, I suppose, if we're going to go with shows as opposed to books. Also sort of something that I can go for cozy time and make me cheer me up.
Yeah, Star Trek's a good one.
Said Star Trek. Yeah. My comfort show is Next Generation.
TNT.
There's some episodes I've seen so many times I can pretty much recite them. But there's also some I've never seen.
Yeah, some of us here could probably go on for a very long time about Star Trek and all the different Star Treks. But we won't do that here. But yes.
That might be a topic for a different stream.
Like a whole stream. Nerdy Star Trek stream. Let us do for hours. Who else? What do we got?
I have a recent show that I just got done, and absolutely it was joy with capital letters. and it surprised me because I hadn't heard about it, didn't know anything about it. It's a show called Severance. It's a series. It has Christopher Walken in it and John Turturro. What's not to love about both of those fellows? But it's really original, creative, unexpected. The cinematography is pretty cool, and just kind of a keep you guessing storyline. So I don't know. I just I'm serious. I got done and I just absolutely wanted to start it over right away. So there you go.
I've heard of it, but I haven't actually seen that one. So that's interesting. I'll have to.
I have been told that my tastes, are a tad on the unusual side. So I can't say everybody's going to respond the same way, but there you go.
Well, I myself are strange and unusual. So yes, I have an author that I absolutely love, Becky Chambers. I don't know if any of you here have read Becky Chambers. Her stuff is it is like a comforting, cozy blanket and a cup of tea on a winter's day. I mean, her stuff is beautiful, and it's fantasy, sci-fi kind of, straddles those worlds. But the one book that I really love is the series that there's two books in the series about Moss Cap and Dex, who are a robot and a non-binary person, actually. And the Dex is actually a tea monk. And what that means is they go around all of these little villages with their house on their bicycle, and they set up tea for everybody at the village. And they change the tea depending on what people need. And people can come from the village and just sit down and have a cup of tea. And the really cool thing about that book series is it made me really think about, we all ask, what are we for? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to accomplish? And in those books, that's one of the questions. And what we're trying to accomplish is being. And it helped me really grasp that, instead of the whole, like, I'm on a treadmill trying to accomplish things all the time. It's like, no, I need to just be. And it really, really helped me move through that part of my brain. So it was lovely. It was absolutely lovely. And then a show I love, when we're feeling a little down, Alex and I will watch Bluey. And if you are an adult and you haven't watched Bluey, go watch Bluey, because it's the most wholesome, lovely show ever. I recommend everybody to watch Bluey. Absolutely.
I want to share that Survivor brings me a lot of joy.
Does
Both
it? I had not heard that ever.
Rachel's being sarcastic, because I love Survivor, and I love watching old seasons because it's just like a comfort show, because you already know who's gonna win, and that's like really fun to like watch it again for like the edits and like things maybe you missed. But it's nice to know the outcomes. That's what comfort movies are. And then I also really love the live season because it's so fun to connect with other people. And every time there's a Survivor season that I really like, and I'm like on Twitter and I'm like seeing what everyone's thinking about it, and like listening to YouTube things in the background while I work about like Survivor. Like, I'm like, this is why people like sports, which is so fun, which is like ultimately community and just not something that I like totally understand. And every time, sometimes I'm just like, I wish I was into sports because it's just like Survivor all the time, but they're here. But yeah, I wanted to mention Survivor.
Well, and because of Charlie, I now watch Survivor. I did not before, and then Charlie got me into it. I've watched the last 3 seasons. We talk about it. I try not to accidentally message Jade about it.
Did that happen?
It fails sometimes.
It did happen once where I thought I was messaging Charlie about Survivor, about the last thing that had happened, and I messaged Jade, and she was so confused.
It was very out of the blue and very like a surreal comment. I was like, what's happening over there? Like, should I call like 911? Something is odd is going on.
Because the person that we were talking about had used it. There's a thing in Survivor called a shot in the dark, which is a gamble that you can make. But I was like, Jade, I didn't say Jade. I was like, blah 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 used a shot in the dark. Wow. And Jade's like, is everything okay? Do I need to call 911? I'm like, oh wait, you're not Charlie. Sorry.
Jeff Probst, season 41. Sorry. Yeah, it's so fun for the community though. It's just it's just really fun. The community, really. It wouldn't be as fun without listening to other people talk about it. Or like the other day, okay, the last thing I'll say about Survivor. The other day I was meeting a friend and I was meeting some of her meeting some of her new friends for friends for the first time. And one person that I met worked with someone that was on one of my favorite seasons. And I said, oh my gosh, because she actually made it to the final 3, but it's like a pretty famous like final. So I was like, oh my gosh, here are all of my opinions about this. And she was like, that all sounds right. She didn't really like totally care, but she cared a little bit. But it was just really fun because then someone else, anyway, community, fun, Survivor. Thank you.
You were so close to celebrity there. That was, your friends, coworkers.
I texted my family immediately. They were very excited.
I love it.
It's a good season.
So let's look at our next slideshow.
Oh yeah, great.
It's not as long as the last one, but we did want to share some beautiful things with everybody.
Yeah, we only have 2 slides. Well, okay, I lied. We have 3 slides, but only because one of those slides is the title slide. So
well.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we asked our youth in our server. Oh, let me take away this silly little banner. We asked the youth in our server, what do they like about being trans and non-binary? And we had we had a lot of really good answers that we wanted to share, but we're only going to share 2 of them. And the first one is, I love being trans because it's helped me become more confident and secure in all aspects of myself. Also the lovely community I get to be a part of.
Yeah,
that's so sweet.
Well, and this is kind of one of those things that I think is often so overlooked. And I'm really glad you all asked this question because I think it's often framed as in media and, anywhere in the news, it's always framed as like being trans is a horrible thing to be. It's miserable. It's blah, blah, blah. But I would so disagree with that sentiment, like even for myself. And I think, creating space to actively ask these questions of young people and get this sort of, experience out there so that it's more talked about, and the negative, things that are happening for trans and non-binary people throughout, the country are kind of quieted for a minute. I think that's really amazing. I think, thinking in this sort of framework is something that many people don't even know exists,
Yeah. And one of the things that it's thinking about too is about sort of what you're talking about, Rachel, earlier about how there are 80 channels or something in the youth chat. There's just so much more to talk about than just being trans, but it's so nice to have that base understanding that everyone has about, that it's okay / celebrated to be trans / non-binary in the server. And so they can maybe talk about other things that they like that are related to their being trans or non-binary without having to answer questions or hold themselves back. Okay, so we have one more we want to share. Being non-binary has helped me to discover new things and feel more comfortable about myself, meet cool people, and have fun.
Yeah, and that goes right back to community, right? Mm-hmm. How important community is, and having those ways that we can identify ourselves to others and share that with others, that creates a community.
Yeah, and the last answer too used the word confident, and this one doesn't use the word confident, but it does. You know what I mean?
Well, comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Thanks for listening. I just wanted to share this.
Yeah, and that actually leads me to talk a little bit about, you know, why we're here again. We're here for our fundraiser, and we have an update. Charlie, are you ready for an update? You're mutedly ready for an update. You're totally not ready for an update in verbally words.
I'm really excited, but it'll take me just 1 second to update the overlay on
Okay, so I will just say thank you to everyone who is watching and who has donated. I know that some of you have been able to help us out this hour, and we really, really appreciate it. And if you are looking to help us with our fundraiser, we are trying to raise $60,000 over the next 2 days, but it's actually, we're in the middle of it. So today is the last day of that 2-day fundraiser. And if you would like to help out, you can go to this link. You can share that link. You can forward it to people. You can tape it on your cat and have your cat run around the neighborhood, whichever works for you. But we are trying to raise $60,000 in 2 days. And Charlie, tell me when you're ready for my update. You are ready for the update. So right now we are at $22,201, and that is 37%. Woo! Hooray! Thank you, everybody who has helped out. And yeah, hopefully we can get more help to raise that $60,000.
And if we get more on this stream, then we get to open Photoshop again and make a new overlay and see it go up, which is really fun. So if people wanted to donate in the next hour, the next 11 minutes would be perfect.
Yep. Yes, that would be great. Because then we would, you know, we like to have Charlie use Photoshop. It's good. But that leads me into our last question that we're going to ask. We want to talk about food because I love food, and so many of us love food. So, what is a treat or dessert that you like or that brings you joy? And that is what we'll end on today because we are about 10 minutes away from being done for today. So I'm sure we can talk about food for 10 minutes. I know we can talk about food for 10 minutes.
And then at the end, also, let's talk about the really fun things that we're doing tonight as well. So
yes.
Yeah, so
absolutely
stick around to hear that.
Yes.
I mean, I know I keep talking first, but I do have really strong opinions about this. I have a lot of thoughts, and this is a very hotly debated, topic within my friend group. Is my favorite sort of treat or dessert thing is underbaked chocolate chip cookies. Like, you could go get like the Nestle Toll House, packs of chocolate chip cookies, and you cook them for a third of the time until they're just like a puddle, and then you eat that. But everybody, and then all my housemates claim that they want it actually, they want it golden brown, they want it crispy. And then when I make them that way, guess which ones are gone first? It's the ones that are a puddle. They're just liars, Nobody actually wants a crispy cookie. I think it's, I don't think you do. I mean, from my experience, and my experience is everybody's experience. Just the soft cookies are superior to every other kind of cookie.
I see. I'm a crispy cookie person, incidentally. I prefer the crispy. I swear if I were in your house and you had a crispy cookie and a soft puddle of a cookie in front of me, I would eat the crispy cookie. I would, I swear.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I'll go next.
So just
go ahead,
I have a question for.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, I'm assuming that what you mean is it's basically like hot cookie dough.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of it's not a formed cookie with like the melted chocolate chips in it and stuff.
Yeah. Exactly, Casper. You got it dead on.
You do that with brownie mix too. Cook about halfway and eat it with a spoon. Super good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, disclaimer: don't get sick.
Yeah, everybody.
Don't get sick and blame trans families for eating raw cookie dough. I'm the leader.
That is a risk I take. This is something I take upon myself every day.
Yes.
I am not afraid of raw flour.
Well, I will jump in there and say that my all-time favorite dessert is, and maybe some of you had this experience, I call it church lady pound cake. That's the only way I can describe it, is church lady pound cake. It's that elder that has been making pound cake for like 40 years. And there's no one else that makes it like that at all. Like you can't find it like that anywhere. And because they really do put a pound of butter, and it's a treat, and you get it like maybe once every 10 years or something. Maybe you come across that maybe at a funeral or something like that, and so it's not a common thing, and it's really hard to find and track down. And so once in a while I end up somewhere. My aunt used to be that person, strong, like and then after she passed away, like that was how I came to love that pound cake. And that's why I sort of named it after her, Church Lady Pound Cake. And it's so good, and it's so like rich, and you only need like one piece, like really a sliver, like a thin piece, but you want to eat a big fat piece, right? You go for more. And then it's gone. It's like the first dessert that's gone, right? It's gone, and it's never to be seen again for another 10 years. So that's what I love and as a dessert. And I wanted to go back and answer really quick the other question that so there was a show you all may be interested in that I watched that I thought it was so fun. My sister turned me on to it. It was called Extraordinary Attorney Woo, and it's a South Korean thing. And so it's better if you watch it in the original language. They do an English dub, but it's not as good. And so you have to really follow it carefully. But it's about a young attorney who has Asperger's syndrome, and it's just a really delightful show to watch. So,
and they do a really good job. Like they did
yes,
a really good job of portraying an autistic person. So it was
yes,
just, I've seen that one.
yeah.
It's great.
So anyway,
Yeah.
if you want a new show to watch, that is one that I found really delightful.
Cool. Yes, I have had that pound cake. That is some good stuff. We've got Aiden coming in with Ben and Jerry's fish food and Toll House chocolate chip cookies with added butterscotch chips. That's some good stuff right there.
Now that's thinking. I love the butterscotch chips edition. I'm gonna have to do that in my next round. That sounds awesome.
Now we've got Odetta coming in with tacos. That's some good stuff. Not always, treat is not always sweet, although it can be. I definitely tend more to savory than sweet. And nachos. Everybody knows nachos is the thing I love more than anything else. I make them in the air fryer. The cheese gets all burnt and crispy. There's a video I played, I think last year, of me making nachos in the air fryer, and I have a folder of photos of all my nachos because I love them so. I even thought about making a coffee table book about my nachos. So that's definitely one. And I'm sure I would get national, international acclaim for a coffee table book about my nachos. Lots of pictures. But I do like some sweet treats. But the savory is definitely a thing. I have many food issues. So in my house, I've got celiac. I'm also allergic to egg. My spouse can't have dairy. And then there's all kinds of other things. Like I can't have most nuts. She can't have chia. Like there's just all kinds of things that make up the lovely package of our household. And so we have to make mostly our own food. We make our own food for the most part because it's really hard to buy stuff from places and have it be safe for all of us. And I eat reduced salt. So that's yet another thing that has thrown a wrench into like trying to eat out ever. But I do love when it's berry season. I grew up for the most part in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they have they have berries, but they don't have berries like the Pacific Northwest has berries. And the Portland area is fabulous for all kinds of berries I had never heard of in my entire life until I moved here, like tay berries and Marion berries and all of these different lovely berries. And so we like to go to the farmer's market and get a whole bunch of berries and make a crumble with like a beautiful crumbly top and then have it with ice cream on it later. So that's one that I love doing. What else?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I said
I just want to jump in really quick on the Marionberry because I live in DC and Marionberry was the name of our mayor for like a million years.
Right.
And so I went on a work trip like 10 years ago from DC, but I went to Portland for the work trip. And I brought back so much Marionberry stuff for all of my coworkers because every time I saw it, I thought it was so funny. And I hadn't thought about Marionberry until you said, there's so many berries in the Portland area. And I was like, oh my God.
The Marionberry. That's funny. That's so funny.
Shout out Marionberry.
What's your favorite treat though?
Me?
Yeah.
Favorite treat? I don't know. I'm not a super picky food person. Which kind of drives people don't love it because it means I have no strong opinions really about food ever, but it's also made other things easier, I guess, for me. Maybe my favorite treat, I don't know. Here's an answer. I love a perfectly campfired s'more. And that is something that you just don't get very much. So I'm going to answer that is something that I would like to say. It's not my favorite, but it's an answer right now, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's like such a choose your own adventure in the food, right? However you like your marshmallow. And you're probably in a really lovely place with people that you love.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to the Marionberries from earlier, I have these memories from when I was pretty little. It seems like once a year my grandfather would go get Marionberries from somewhere, and he'd bring them home, and like the family would have Marionberries and probably vanilla ice cream. They're very faint memories. I'll have to ask my mom about this.
Ah. That's cool though. All right. Anybody else have a treat, dessert, something?
I like it all. I like both sweet and savory, but I do love chocolate, and like flourless chocolate cake is super, super good, which you're supposed to only have a little bit of, but of course I could eat like, a good third of a pie of just flourless chocolate cake. But I also love savory food. Like Odetta mentioned in the comments, tacos. Tacos are great if you can find them on the East Coast. Hard to find a good taco, but they're great when you can find them. And I love artichokes, which are my favorite happy food. So my favorite dinner is just like 2 huge artichokes with blue cheese dressing, maybe some garlic bread, a glass of white wine. It's super yummy. But I like to eat. Yeah.
Well, cheese.
Jade, I love artichokes so much.
Oh, artichokes are the best. Super good. Yeah. Wow. That's great.
My
So there's a bunch of
favorite
us.
food is officially watermelon, but
Yeah.
I couldn't pick between watermelon and artichokes. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I like the marinated in olive oil with like on a pizza. I know that's yummy stuff. Yummy. All right. We are at about time. So thank you everyone for your answers. Those of you in the chat as well as those of you who are here up on the stage. We have an exciting stream for you this evening for our fundraiser. We are actually doing a workshop exploring gender and gender euphoria, which is something that's super important right now. We talk about gender dysphoria all the time, but gender euphoria is not something we always explore. So we're running a workshop this evening that you can come and participate in no matter what gender you have, because people who are trans, non-binary, or cis all can experience gender euphoria. So definitely show up for that. That will be at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern tonight in the same way that you're seeing this right now on Facebook or YouTube. And you can like and subscribe to our Facebook or YouTube to be notified when we go live. And we don't really have an update from our last update. We are sitting at about the same place, but please share that link with friends and family and anybody else that you think could help us out right now. We have, 14 and a half hours to go on our fundraiser where we're trying to raise $60,000 and we're just a little over 20,000. So we've got a ways to go and we hope that you can help us do that. Does anybody have anything final to say before we wave goodbye? All
This
right.
was really nice.
It was wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And we'll do the wave thing. Yay.
Thanks, folks.
Bye.